Okay, today I went to the Hands Off meeting, the Hands Off March in Washington, D.C., and it was in every major city today, and just got a few pictures and a few videos. Here's one about circumcision, man, and hear that come up a lot of times. Here's a picture of Trump, and then a couple of other stills, jump Trump, the orange hair. Here's about female genital mutilation. That was on the back of the other one. And just another picture. And then have to go to 5,006. Today, also, I was at a brunch at Freddy's in Crystal City in Arlington, and there was a lot of noise outside, singing and then preaching. By religious fundamentalists who think it's their mission to save us. So they actually have to save us. I mean, that's actually what they believe. And I can see kind of why people believe that. And then I went to the march. Some of these pictures didn't come out as well. Now they're starting to come out better. Reclaim our democracy. Nobody elected Elon. Well, that's true. Protects the Constitution. The fascist Trump regime must go. That picture didn't focus very well. No Country for Old Kings. That's like the movie No Country for Old Men. Stop destroying the government exits for civil servants and protect public schools. Do not obey in advance. That's a good one. That was first they came for the immigrants. Only tyrants to severe people. The police picture, the park police. And I got another one of the circumcision pictures, I guess. More gay men means more women are available. That's interesting. Of course, more births means more gay men because of the birth order issue. GOP on policy on poverty. Well, am I being detained? That was another sign I saw. Grab him by the testicles. That sign was on the Metro too. We the people, we have no king. We have no king. That was here's one of the videos.
Well, I hope Trump
The other video was from the last
frees that person in Salvador that hope that Trump orders that judge's order.
Realizes that this crowd
is bad.
is bigger than both his inaugurations, and even Obama's at this.
Well, we'll know April the 7th.
There's no news broadcasting. There's a news blackout. They can't get any communication.
That case in Venezuela, the constitutional crisis, and another one.
I like that one, the Dow. Although the bond markets actually went up, at least mine did.
couple, can't find 239. Yeah, here's the picture for 239, and this is with the Sony camera, the better camera. And here's the video.
And we'll do one more.
And that's the other one. It's Capital. Okay, that's about it as far as the pictures. I just wanted to talk about one other little thing that was left over from the video about the trans march. And I wanted to talk about that I'm getting feedback from friends that are young straight men, essentially, that what is very important to them in their growth as young men is the belief that they will have a lineage and the belief that that lineage will be consistent and pure and mean something. And that actually makes them more interested in keeping the marriages they have. Now, that's somewhat diluted by interracial marriage, in the past few decades. But I'm hearing people say that, which means, because we talked about the Bible in 1 Corinthians recently, and which means that that whole biblical morality sort of assumes a tribal world of countries and tribes where each tribe or country has to defend itself. And so you need people, particularly you need young men to help defend it. And you need young men to take care of the women when they're having children, just like it used to be in the past. And the women need to be more interested in having children for its nation to be strong. And if there really are enemies, our world could get like that again as a zero-sum game if climate change happens or something happens to the power grid, EMP or something, our world could get more like that. More emphasis on every male should be as self-sufficient as possible. This is a kind of idea from the right. Which, and in my case, if I had been more physical than I was, and I finally sort of caught up in the Army and special training finally when I was 24. But if I had been more physical than I was, I would have probably been my brain probably would have connected to being more interested in women. I was an only child. I wasn't a later born son. So I don't, but I did have measles and I did have coordination problems, dyspraxia. I had male interest, in games, baseball games and stadiums and that kind of thing. So I didn't want to be the other gender, but I kind of fear what would happen to somebody like me today or would have happened a few years ago in some parts of the country. I kind of wonder, the idea, because my way of thinking was, well, I want to be affiliated with someone who is big and strong. That gives me an identity. But if a lot of people do that, then plus if a lot of people in the same society probably stick to the heterosexual lineage model in the way they think. If a lot of people do both, you're going to have a world where it becomes more and more unequal. And you're going to have a lot more social tensions. And the whole gender identity thing, talked about existentialism versus essentialism the last time, that whole thing. Some of it seems to be a practical reality to give people some other way to be liked if they can't compete, with according to the norms of their birth sex. And that's a practical, and to make people like them and make people empathize with them and want to date them and want to bring them into their lives publicly. If you're in my position, there's a lot of pressure. In fact, even in the Bible, it's better to marry than to burn thing. The people that burn, that remain incels or something, are supposed to be communal. They're not really supposed to try to attract attention to themselves, to their own agency, when they don't take on the same kind of responsibility. They're supposed to spread salvation. And then there's the whole idea of sacrifice and other things I talked about, which means being saved is so important. So you can start seeing why people evangelize the way they do. So you can start seeing why these beliefs fall into place the way they do and why the left has reacted the way it has. And it's up to individuals who have more freedom than maybe they earn to do what they do with it, or else, as I didn't always do that, and society started getting more polarized. So I just wanted to say that tonight about, in addition to, showing the video from the Hands Off March, what's called the Hands Off March. Somebody had a video on a placard in the Metro that said, deport Elon to Mars. And you could say, well, maybe to Europa, or maybe to Titan, the atmosphere of Venus, or maybe to Proxima B. There's more and more indication there could be life on Proxima B. It's a little more than 4 light years away. And it has gravity about the same as Earth, whereas these other worlds don't. It might have areas of moderate temperature. It might not have enough oxygen or something. You might have to build domed cities or something. But I'm getting to wonder, if the Netflix series, The Three Body Problem, was right. But that's what I have for today, having gone to the Hands Off March. And I do thank you for listening.